You want to track the reach of your campaigns. How many people has the ad reached? So that's the first column in my report. The second column in my report is with the different types of campaigns. Sometimes you want to measure different things. I will run a video view campaign, so I get eyeballs on my videos. Be very careful which metrics you're using to decide whether you switch an ad off or an ad on, and be thinking about what each campaign is designed for. Your click-through rate needs to be over 1%. That means that Hi, I'm Kerry Fitzgibbon, an ADHD fempreneur, multiple seven-figure business owner, and Facebook marketing ninja. Together, let's unleash AI-powered Facebook marketing to take your business from best-kept secret to the top of your niche and beyond. Welcome to this week's episode. Today, I'm going to be talking about what Facebook ad metrics you need to know. Get this wrong, and I can tell you now, your ads will tank. So, one of the things you need to understand about Facebook and Facebook ads is that they don't make anything easy. Now, you would think that they would because, of course, they want to make more money. They want you to spend money on ads, but often a lot of the things inside Meta, so Meta is Facebook, are complicated. And especially if you are a newbie and you don't know what you're doing, you can get it absolutely totally wrong if you listen to some of the default metrics or that Facebook offers, and even some of the advice that it offers inside that. It'll be giving you little tips on what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and whatever else. It'll tell you, hey, listen, this ad isn't performing, why don't you do this? Or this ad's performing, why don't you put more spend on it, and so on. And sometimes if you do listen to these things, and actually more often than not, if you do listen to the suggestions inside Ads Manager, you are going to spend a lot of money and not get the results you want. And that can be really, really frustrating for small business owners because what do you do? Well, today I'm going to be covering exactly what metrics that you should be looking at, what metrics you step away from, and how you can really start seeing the data so that you can actually get better results with your Facebook ads. So, first of all, let's talk about the defaults inside Facebook. So when you go inside Ads Manager to have a look at your ads. Now, you should only ever run your ads through Ads Manager, okay? Not through your page, but actually inside Ads Manager, facebook.com/Ads Manager. So that's where you should be running your ads from. But when you first go in there and have a look at your campaign, there is the default metrics, and it's actually called a performance metric. You need to be very, very careful of this default performance metric that Facebook actually has in there for you. You need to set up customized reports, okay? So that is what you need to do when you first jump inside Facebook. The other thing you need to watch out for is the date. What is the date range that you're looking at? Because quite often I'll have a client say to me, oh my goodness, I hardly got any results, or I can't see that my ads are switched on, or, a few other variables of that. And often it's because they are looking at maybe a date range that it's defaulted to that isn't the right date range, or they might be looking at a one-day date range. So make sure on the right-hand side of your campaigns, or right-hand side of the dashboard of Ads Manager, up the top is the date range. So make sure it's set to the right date range to be able to track your ads. What I typically do, I typically set up a 7-day date range, and I set up reports that are every 7 days. I'm not looking at them every single day because, let's face it, it can be like the stock exchange. It can go up and down, and it can really start to cause you to panic if, let's just say, one day your ad's performing and then another day it's not performing. Well, what can quite often happen is it can level out. So when we set up campaigns for the very first time, we leave it 3 days and then we start optimizing, but our reports at the very most every 7 days, but I still don't necessarily take stock of it unless it's once a month. So once a month, I take a really good stock of everything that's happened inside that campaign and will more, adjust to suit. Don't get me wrong, I am adjusting throughout a little bit, but I don't make any drastic decisions until I've seen some data come through. So be very, very careful of that. So in terms of setting up your campaigns or setting up your standard reports. So the standard campaign, so this is a report that I have for every single campaign. And so you go into your customized columns and you set these up. So the very first one is you want to track the reach of your campaign. So reach is the very first one. Now in reach, what the metric is how many people has that ad reached. Okay, so I want to know how many people has the ad reached. So that's the first column in my report. The second column in my report is link clicks. Now, link clicks are how many times someone's actually clicked on the ad. It's not necessarily how many times someone's clicked on the link of your ad. It's how many times someone has clicked on your ad. So I want to know that measurement, right? And the reason why is it gives me, I guess, the engagement of the campaign, right? So how many people has it reached and how many people have taken some type of action on it? Because they can click on the ad, but not necessarily come through to your landing page. So there's all different things that they can do there. So the second column is link clicks. The third column I want to measure is click-through rate. Now, typically, link clicks divided by reach equal click-through rate. Okay, so the click-through rate is obviously, how many people have seen the ad, how many people have clicked on the ad and clicked through to take the next action. Now, when it comes to reading these stats, click-through rate is something I read. Okay, I want to know that the click-through rate is over 1%. If it's over 1%, then the ad copy, the ad image or creative, and the audience is okay. Okay, if the ad isn't performing for whatever reason, if the click-through rate is over 1%, then I will look at other things apart from necessarily the copy and the creative. Okay, so the click-through rate is the third column. The fourth column that I'm looking at, and it all depends, but I still set this up whether I'm sending people through to my website or whether I'm not, it doesn't matter. I want to see at any given stage how many people would have come to a landing page on my website. Okay, so the fourth column is landing page views. I want to know that, if I'm running an ad, let's just say it is to my website, how many people actually clicked on it and landed on my website. Even if I'm running a messenger campaign or even a video view campaign, as a result of that campaign, maybe not straight away, but within the next 7 days or so, how many people came to my landing page. So my fourth column is landing page views. All right. The next column after that is the fifth column is results. Now, so you have a results, you can find out what results the ad got. Now, understand with results. So when we're looking at results in the column of results, when we're tracking it inside Ads Manager, is it will give you the result of the campaign. So whatever the campaign's optimized for. So if you've optimized the campaign for video views, the result column will be how many people viewed your video. If you have if you're running a messenger campaign, let's just say, the result will be how many people clicked on Messenger. If it's purchase, it'll be purchase. So understand that the results column is based on what the objective of the campaign is. So like I said, the fifth column is results. The next thing I want to measure, number 6, is the cost per result. So, I want to know what the result is and what the cost per result is. And like I said, it depends on the optimization of the campaign. And then column number 7 is the amount spent. Okay, so that's just a standard report. I'll set that up in every single ad account. And when I go in and have a look at the performance of campaigns, rather than look at the default performance in there, this is the standard campaign that I will look at to start making any kind of decision. But also depending on the type of campaign. So you can have multiple different types of campaigns inside Facebook. You can have a reach campaign. You can have a messenger campaign. You can have a video view campaign. You can have a lead campaign, sales campaign, traffic campaign. So there's multiple different campaigns you can have in it. So depending on what campaign that I'm using will depend on some of the other reports that I'll set up inside Facebook, custom reports I'll set up inside Facebook. So on the back end of my standard report, I'll have columns after it, which will be purchase. So I'll have a purchase column. So how many people purchased from, after seeing this ad. I'll also have cost per purchase. So understand though, that let's just say you're running a video view campaign. So that's top of the funnel. Top of the funnel is I want to get in front of as many businesses as possible to get brand recognition. I want the cheapest, easiest, quickest way to get in front of them to build know, love, and trust. Well, that is a video, okay? So we run video view campaigns. That's top of the funnel. That's the very first campaign I will typically run when I'm working with a business owner and they don't have, any other type of warm audiences. So if I'm running a top of the funnel branding video view campaign, then of course the purchase and the cost per purchase, if I'm tracking those on the back end of it, of course that's going to be almost zero, okay? It's very rare that we'll run a campaign that's optimized to get eyeballs on a video we're saying to Facebook, hey, listen, of these, 100,000 people, show this video or ad to people that are most likely to interact or watch the video. It's less likely at the top of the funnel that they're going to purchase. But I still like to track it. I still want to see top of the funnel video, were there any purchases that came through? What was the cost of purchase? Of course, it's going to be much more expensive than, let's just say I run a sales campaign that's optimized for a purchase. Well, of course, that will actually come through as a result and cost per result. But, obviously the cost per purchase and the purchases will be quite a lot more purchases, less cost per purchase if I'm running a specific campaign to get that. And then the other thing that I look at as well, and it can be really, really deceiving, is they call ROAS. So ROAS, return on ad spend. So, this is how much I'm spending, how much money am I making, what am I getting for the return of ad spend? How that can be deceiving is so many different factors can make that deceiving. And quite often when I'll speak to clients and say, oh, look, you're getting a 6-time return on, times return on ad spend, right? And they'll say, well, I'm not actually seeing that profit, or I'm not seeing that money in my account. And that can be, like I said, it can be quite deceiving because Facebook's going by what you're fed it or what it believes, and it's not necessarily going on everything else it took to get that purchase. So it didn't look at, let's say, top of the funnel advertising that it took, middle of the funnel list building that it took, until it came down to the sale. So sometimes the better metric to look at there would be, cost per acquisition. Okay, how much did it cost me to be able to get a client? And the best way, there's software to measure that, but some of the times the best way to measure that might be a manual process. How much money did I spend this month on ads, and how many clients did I get with that, and how much money did I make? So sometimes that's actually the easiest way to work out cost per acquisition, and then obviously divide the profit by the amount that you spent, and you can get the cost per acquisition there. So those are some of the really, really basic metrics. Well, actually, most important metrics, to be honest, that you should be measuring. So if you haven't done it already, go into your ads manager and set up those columns with those key metrics and data points so that you can actually start measuring the right stuff. Instead of, like I've said, I've had clients come in and go, oh my goodness, what's happening with my ads? It doesn't look like anything's happened. And they've been looking at the wrong data, and they've switched ads off based on the wrong data, which sometimes means you can switch off ads that are high performing if you're looking at the right data. The other thing that actually frustrates me as well, within Facebook and Ads Manager, is that some of the suggestions, so at the moment, Facebook is making a suggestion pretty much to every single advertiser, right? So you'll go in there and it will say, hey, listen, why don't you set up a sales campaign report? Except the sales campaign metrics that it's asking you to set up into columns are not the right ones to measure whether you are going to have success with an ad campaign or not. And I'm not sure why they've done it, because you'd think that they'd want you to read the right metrics. So just be very, very wary when Facebook is suggesting which columns to set up. Set up a sales performance report, I think is what it says in there at the moment, and it pops up, and use these key metrics. Click this button and we'll set up the performance, sales performance report for you. You're actually measuring the wrong things, and you can make big mistakes, and you can lose a lot of money, or switch off the wrong ads, or leave the wrong ads running. And you'll know, right? Because you're not getting the results can be one of the reasons why you can tell whether you're measuring the right stuff or not. So now, with that in mind, there are different types of campaigns. So obviously, with the different types of campaigns, sometimes you want to measure different things. So like I said before, my standard report is reach, link clicks, click-through rate, landing page views, results, cost per result, amount spent, and then I might look at purchase, cost per purchase, and return on ad spend. Okay, so that's standard report. When we're looking at really top of the funnel stuff, and I just want to dive deep into, all right, what types of content are people enjoying of mine? What are they consuming? What content's getting the best results? What videos am I producing that people like? Just so I can do more of them, right? So if you know which bits of your content people are most resonating with, are most engaging with, are getting people to know, love, and trust you more, helping you become, stop being the world's best kept secret, and you know which ones are the best, then you can start doing more of those. That's where we use another report. So like I said, at the very top of the funnel, the main campaign I will run is a video view campaign. So I get eyeballs on my videos. And so with these video view campaigns, there are slightly different metrics that I want to measure. Okay. So I'll set up a customized report. I will still have how many people has the video reached. So I'll still have reach in column 1. I'll have link clicks in column 2. I'll have click-through rate in column 3. I'll still have results and cost per results, because the results is how many video views was there, and then the cost per result is how much did it cost to get an eyeball on the video. But I'll also set up, after that, I'll set up some other columns, because I want to know the interaction. How long did people stay on my video for, and so on. So I'll set up a column on 3-second video views. So how many people watch to 3 seconds. I'll set up a column which is called through play. So through play is 15 seconds or more. Can be quite deceiving, right? Because you kind of think through play should be all the way through, but it's actually for 15 seconds or more, right? So 3 seconds, 15 seconds. I want to know how many people have watched 25% of the video or more, 50% of the video or more, and then up to 95% of the video or more. Because typically if they make it to 95%, most of them have made it through to 100%, okay? So those are the other extra columns that I set up for top of the funnel video view campaigns. And I set them all up under the same campaign. So I have a campaign and I call it my video view template, and I give it to all my clients. And essentially what it is, it's a video view campaign. I have multiple ad sets. Ad sets equal audiences inside this campaign. And the audiences might be a cold, broad audience, a mega warm audience, and a lookalike 1% audience of my buyers or someone on my database and so on. So 3 different audiences, and then I'll have a video that shows to all of those. And let's just say I do that on week 1. So week 1, I have a video that shows to those audiences. Week 2, I turn that video off and I put a second video into the same campaign to the same audiences. Week 3, I turn that one off and I put the third one in, and so on and so on and so on. So when I go back and look at my data, I can see everything in one campaign. I can see at a glance with the campaign report, video view campaign report on. I can look down all of my videos. I can see, right, which ones had the most 3-second, 95% or more. Which ones did people watch to 95% or more? And I can see that at a glance. I can also see, actually, my 7th column that I have for my video views is average play time as well. So how long was the average play time on each video? So looking at my data, if I have that all in one column, I can see very, very clearly which videos outperformed other videos. So that means which content outperformed other content. Which content did people most resonate with? Now, this can be a double-edged sword, okay? So whereas this actually should work 95% of the time, you also want to be taking into account, if you're looking at this to see which one content people resonated with most, the other thing that I would look at with this one as well is another metric. So it might be a landing page view, or how many people came onto my list, or how many people purchased. Because what can happen sometimes is we can get very viral videos, but they're viral for the wrong reasons and they're viral to the wrong audiences. So that means you can have a video that takes off for whatever reason it takes off, okay? I've had it happen myself, but it took off to the wrong audience and for the wrong reasons, okay? So that's why you want to, when you're looking at all your videos and you're looking at all your content and you're looking at this data and whatever else, really start to analyze it and think, okay, well, after this, after they watched the video, what else did they do afterwards within, and that's where I'd look at a 28-day time span on that. So those are some of obviously the key columns, the right data that you should be measuring inside Facebook, because I know that data can be, for many, it's the boring part, isn't it? The creatives come up with the ideas, coming up with the concepts is super, super fun, right? And data can be really boring, except you need to be able to measure it so that you can manage it, so that you can optimize it, so that you can make more money into your business. If you are not measuring it, and especially not just not measuring it, if you're measuring the wrong thing, you can make the most massive mistakes with your ads, cost you a lot of money, and you don't get the results, and then you pack it in, and again, then you say, Facebook ads don't work, right? And again, I hear that all the time. So hopefully, setting up those columns inside Facebook helps you to be able to then be able to measure the right things inside Facebook. So now that I've shared with you some of the how to set up your custom reports, which metrics we should be looking at, the next thing is how do we read them? What actually do they tell us? Okay. Now, this is a massive piece of string question. One of the things I can tell you, and it's a general rule of thumb, is your click-through rate needs to be over 1%, okay? That means that your ad copy, creative's great, and whatever else, and your audience is pretty good. It should be over 1%. If it's under, then you might want to work on the creative, the copy, and the audience. The other thing is conversion rate. Okay, so once they've come to your website, what is a good conversion rate? And, you can usually get that by purchases divided by landing page views, typically. Okay, and again, if it's a completely cold audience, well, we know that generally 1% of people will purchase the first time around after seeing your product or service come to your website. Will purchase the first time around, but that's only if your product or service is under $100, okay? So after that, the conversion rate's going to be a little bit lower. I like to think when I'm holding my webinars, for instance, so I run ads to send people to my Facebook and AI masterclass that talks about all this sort of stuff. So I send, run ads, send people to my website. Well, I like to think that website converts at over 10 to 15%. Okay. And again, it will depend on whether someone's cold or warm. So, it certainly is a piece of string on what your website should be converting at, but certainly look at, like, if it's a low conversion rate, if your website is converting at under 1% and it is, let's just say, under $100, then you might want to look at the layout and everything of your website to see, what's going on there. Another thing that people track and like to look at is ROAS. So that's return on ad spend. And they're going, right, if I put $1 in and I'm getting $2 back, happy days, which can be okay, right? ROAS is great. We can get clients 4, 5, 6 times ROAS. I mean, I've got people percentage, 2,000% to 34, 5,000% return on ad spend. Okay. It's not a metric you should be basing your stuff on. And a lot of people do, and they make big mistakes looking at return on ad spend, the metric. Okay, because there's so many different factors and other things that can go into that. Like I said before, you should actually be starting to figure out what it is to acquire a customer. What does it cost me to acquire a customer? And that is very, very different than return on ad spend. Some of the metrics you should definitely not worry about, okay? When I'm looking at a campaign, and I'm looking at the standard columns in that, and I might have a campaign that has way higher landing page views than another. So one campaign's got really high landing page views, so I'm sending lots of traffic to there. The other one has less landing page views, but maybe have more purchases, all right? So I don't look at silly metrics. I call them silly metrics. I don't look at metrics that really don't matter when I'm looking at what my end result is. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. So I do a lot of split testing with ads. So split testing creatives, split testing copies, split testing audiences, and so on. And I also split test objectives. So some of the different objectives. Now, when I'm wanting to get people to either purchase in my e-commerce store or register for one of my webinars, I will run 2 different split tests at a campaign level sometimes. And one will be a traffic objective, so sending traffic to my website. Facebook, show this ad to people that are most likely to land on my website. And the second split test will be a campaign, which is a sales. So optimize it for people that are most likely to either purchase, if it's my e-commerce store, or if it's a webinar, complete registration. So register. So a traffic objective against a sales objective. Now, 9 times out of 10, if you were just looking at the performance metric that Facebook's showing you, it'll show you more traffic, more reach, more traffic, more landing page views to your website, costing a lot less. Compared to the sales campaign, which will be more expensive. Less reach, less traffic, less landing page views. But if you're looking at the right metrics, you can see for a purchase or a completed registration that the sales campaign possibly would outperform the traffic in sales or in registrations for a webinar. So be very careful which metrics you're using to decide whether you switch an ad off or an ad on, and be thinking about is, what each campaign is designed for. So is it a top of funnel? Is it a middle of funnel? Is it a bottom of funnel? And be really, really clear about what that is, what you're trying to achieve. So top of funnel, you're not trying to get sales. Middle of funnel, you're not necessarily trying to get sales. Bottom of funnel, you are. So really look at that. Be careful. It's a big, bad world out there. You think that Facebook's doing you right by giving you the right advice. Sometimes it's not. Often it's not. So hopefully that, by me going out to the world, helping with this information that I have, been doing Facebook marketing for over 13 years, that I can actually help small business owners just like you actually win at the game of Facebook ads. So hopefully this has helped you today. I know data and metrics can seem a bit boring, but you get it right, you read the right stuff, you can start seeing some good results. And if you did like this episode, then make sure that you subscribe to YouTube, follow me on my socials, and if you do like it, give me a 5-star rating. And I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for joining me. If this episode helped you get your business one step closer to the top of your niche, then I'd love your support with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform too. Don't let your journey end here. Connect with me and my community of like-minded female entrepreneurs at Kerry Fitzgibbon on social platforms. I look forward to helping you build your business.